So lovely to meet you
Finally.
at last.
I know, I've been sort of looking forward to this meeting ever since we talked on the phone.
Ever since we talked on the phone.
Right.
And I've been seeing you posting on the group actively. We talked and there was so much more to you after we talked on the phone that I figured that this is one person I absolutely have to meet.
I know, we talked for like almost an hour. Right?
And we even made plans to meet up for you to host me in your Mumbai home. Imagine that,
yes.
right?
Because I just felt like there was so much that we were both experiencing.
Exactly.
That it sort of allowed us so many spaces for collaboration, so many things that we could actually discuss with each other. And it was like really exciting. I remember being excited after my call with you.
And similar stages of life as well.
True,
right?
True. Absolutely. So what brings you here?
Very simple. Arun told me Sudipta's in town. Here's an opportunity to meet with her. And I'm bringing gin to the table. So one cannot say no to Sudipta and gin.
And I think the chips added to that.
Yes.
Because I'm a complete chip freak. So
that was us.
You need chips all the time.
So that was it. That was easy. Easy for me to show up on the Show Up Show with you. So I have to ask you, I mean, of course, you know, we've spoken on the phone quite a few times and I've known of your interests, how you began your life in media. Tell me a little bit about your storytelling journey and if that is your passion project or not. I'll leave that for you to expand on, but I just wanted to hear from you.
Sure. So I think I've loved stories all my life. You know, I remember my grandmother telling me stories. I remember my dad telling me stories. So so stories have been a part of my life forever. But I seriously took on storytelling as a career option much later. And I hadn't really thought about it. Like, for example, when I was working in media, you know, I was doing television, doing shows, doing other stuff, and all good. Until I stopped my journey with media. And when I actually stopped, I was like trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life now. So I did what a lot of people in the corporate sector, and I've been a trainer, so did a SWOT analysis. And one of the things that emerged was that I had always in some form or the other worked with stories. So whether it's through media, whether it's through my workshops, whether it's through my performances, whichever way. And I said, okay, so storytelling seems to be one of the areas that I could focus on. And so I actually sort of started owning it. You know, I started saying, okay, so I am a storyteller. And I actually tried it out. And I remember sitting with my son and my grandson and saying, you know, if someone asked me, so, you know, how do you define yourself? I would say I'm a storyteller.
How lovely.
And I actually worked on that.
How lovely is that?
So that I could actually own that space for myself. And so now what I do is every space I work with, I actually bring storytelling into it.
How lovely is
that? That's how that journey began. What about you? I mean, one of the things I absolutely love is your poetry.
Thank you.
Right? So how did that journey begin for you? Was it like since you were a kid or was it... Tell me a little more about how you started writing poetry.
Yeah, that's actually a very interesting question. Only because during my Creativegarh journey and after, a couple of people called me a violent creative or like an accidental creative, as though my writing poetry had come out of the Creativegarh, you know, experience. But truth be told, I've actually been like a career creative, except it's not my career. So I've kind of been a lifetime creative.
Yeah.
And I've been a resilient creative. So this is all I kind of know how to do. And I've not stopped doing it since I was a child. And I've done it. I've written poems. I think I started at like 5 or 6 years old, you know, in school competitions and contests. And that was just my mother pushing me because, you know, she's a writer as well.
And we are Bengalis.
And we are Bengali, so you have to be a performing monkey, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Circus monkey. You have to sing, you have to dance, you have to write poetry, and you have to excel in academia, mind you, right? So that's a given, right? So that's, I think, how it started. I never not wrote poems.
Yeah.
I think that's how at best, I can explain it. What Creativegarh got me doing is to just like for you to start owning your stories, it got me to start owning my poems. I was always kind of low-key healing in my own worldview, low-key healing myself and low-key healing maybe a couple of friends who had access to my poetry. But I didn't think much of it, honestly. I just thought that maybe, it just comes easily to everybody, just as easily it comes to me. So I didn't think too much about it, and it is only when I came to Creativegarh and we talked about unfurling your passion and what is it that really sparks joy. And what is your constant in life? And that was a question that keeps coming back to me whenever I'm stuck, and Arun sends me a little nudge saying, what sparks joy? What is your constant? Keep going back to your constant. So poetry is really my constant. And that's how I have evolved and seen myself as not an accidental poet, but as a resolute poet almost. It just gets me through life.
So is it also therapeutic in a way?
It is. It is
catharsis?
Very much so. Because whenever I'm sort of having a hard time, a hard day, or series of hard days, and I don't write for a long time, I just feel that energy builds up in me. And then the only way, a lot of people go to the gym and other people do other things. And for me to expunge that energy is to sit down and start writing poem. And the beautiful thing is that sometimes I don't plan the poem at all. I just sit and I just have a loose construct in my head. I start, and honestly, somebody else finishes the poem for me. It's never me. And I would love to take credit for my creativity, but honestly, I can't.
No, but I think your command over language is so strong.
Thank you so much.
I've seen that in your poems, and even when you talk or when you're writing, it sort of comes across. And I think when you have that sort of command over language, then a lot of times it just flows.
Maybe, yes.
Because otherwise, a lot of people, when they're writing poetry, they're looking for words.
Right.
Like to express something that you're feeling.
Right.
But when you write beautifully. Like I write poetry too.
Thank you.
But my poetry is far simpler. And I think it's partly because your language, your command over language is better than mine. I mean, honestly. And I'm not saying this is good or bad. I'm just saying that that's what it is. And I actually can feel that. But I write, and I have to say, Creativegarh gave me the push to actually publish a book this year.
Yes, you told me
Small
about
one,
that.
21 poems, but I still did it.
You did it, yes.
And but I use poetry in a slightly different way than you. I use it very consciously. Like I use it for creating dance dramas or for messaging, or stuff like that. So I do a lot of scripting work with it.
Oh, lovely.
Where I can use my poetry for that. But it's also always been my go-to place whenever I was sad or upset or anything, or happy,
Or happy.
So Mohana, can you share a poem with us?
Yes, I think I would love to. I have a favorite poem. I've written possibly till date over 100 poems.
Wow.
And 60 of them came out of the Creativegarh pledge of writing a poem every single day.
I know, I read all of them. So it's beautiful.
A favorite one is still about laundry, and I'm going to read that poem out.
Okay.
It's called Laundry Me Home. Imagine a world without fresh laundry. No cotton cloud, grassy smelling sheets. No bright white tees and neon pants. No pink spring skirts with a joyful bounce. No canary yellow baby clothes hanging out on a drying line. All drinking in the sun golden. A world without laundry would be an endless pause of muddy living and not enough being. Because only a clean laundry line can run like a river across the shores of birth and death, loss and grief, marriage and migration.
Wow.
Because no matter what, the laundry needs to get done. And sometimes that's all the comfort we are allowed, to curl up in a crisp white sheet and sing ourselves home.
Oh, so beautiful, really. I remember there was some backstory to this one, right?
Yes.
So can you tell us a little bit?
Yes. For as long as I remember, Sudipta, I've been fascinated by laundry. And no matter where I see laundry hanging in the air, it just fills me with a sense of hope about the continuity of life. Because people come and go, we lose loved ones, we lose jobs, we have marriages, deaths, celebrations, grieving, and yet the laundry needs to happen. So I think for me, it is the one thing that nobody can take away from me, my laundry, because that to me represents life.
How interesting, because I don't think I've ever thought of it that way. Ever. Like I've never looked at laundry as something which could be, done. So amazing thought.
Thank you. So Sudipta, enough about me and my poems. I know that you write and you've published a book of poems, Broken Dreams, which I've bought as well and read. So what I would love for you to do is talk about and recite a poem of your own that is dear to you.
Okay. So can I do one in Hindi?
Absolutely. I'd be delighted.
So I'm going to do this one in Hindi.
Yes.
So Hindi is my new thing, right? I've always written, because I think in English, so I've always written in English. But of late, I find that sometimes a poem will emerge in Hindi for me.
Beautiful.
Also, the interesting thing about this specific poem is that it emerged before, like it was talking about something which I had not yet experienced.
Wow.
Right? Before I experienced it. And now I can say I've experienced it.
Wow.
But it wasn't when I wrote it. So it's sort of interesting to sort of grow into a poem.
Yes, yes.
So it's called Sampurna. The poem goes like this. Sampurna hu main. संपूर्ण हूं मैं अपने ही आप में. संपूर्ण हूं मैं अपने ही आप में, किसी और की जरूरत नहीं. दोस्त भी है, रिश्ते भी है, लेकिन सब अपने जगह सही. अकेलापन का एहसास तो है, अकेलापन का एहसास तो है, लेकिन कोई अफसोस नहीं. खामोशी में लिखी है राज कि मेरी मंजिल और कहीं. जिंदगी तेरी तलाश है मुझे, जिंदगी तेरी तलाश है मुझे, पर मौत से कोई बैर नहीं. ढूंढ लेना मुझे, मैं यही खड़ी हूं, इंतजार थोड़ा और सही.
Wow, it was goosebumpish, Sudipta.
This is awesome. This would be a good poem to,
So Sudipta, we heard that poem just really took my breath away. Gave me such goosebumps. So now we've established that you're a poet, you're a storyteller, and you've been in media before, from everything I know of you. But I also know you do a bunch of different things. So tell me all today. Like, don't hide any skeletons in your closet.
Okay, we might be sitting here all night, but yeah. Let me first tell you about what I'm doing, like something that got launched yesterday, something that I've been working on. And in fact, I talked about it at the Creativegarh retreat as one of my my passion project.
Okay.
And I just launched the project yesterday. It's called School Chameleons. So the thought was that many people, many schools in this case, though my concept is larger in terms of it's a global chameleons. But right now it's like many schools are doing many different things beyond just academics.
Yes, yes.
And there is a need for it to happen. Like we need more things to happen in the world to address climate change. Yes. I know that that's an area close to your heart. Or address gender equality, or rather inequality, or address the problems of clean water. So schools are doing this work. So the idea was, can we create a common platform for schools to share what they're doing in their schools, what their teachers might be doing, what the administration may be doing, what the leadership might be doing. So, and create one platform where we can share these stories to inspire each other, where we can learn from each other, we can find spaces for collaboration. And so yesterday we launched School Chameleon Mumbai. We're reaching out to about like 350 schools, and hopefully we'll have about 100 amazing stories to share. And our finale event is, I think, going to be in December.
Okay.
So that's the project we've just launched. And the most exciting thing about that project, I mean, one is, of course, it's a dream come true. But also the fact that I have 3 partners with me today who are as excited about this project as I am. 2 of them who are actually from Creativegarh, I mean, who've been to Creativegarh as well. So it's really interesting, the way it all fell together. It took its time, but now it's out there. Social media is talking about it. We have a article in the midday tomorrow.
Fantastic.
And so it's like on its way. Besides the School Chameleon,
yes,
there are many different types of projects I'm doing with different NGOs, primarily to make a difference in the world. So I work with a group called Project Mumbai, where we're doing a kindness program in schools. I work with Akshara, which is a women's organization, creating gender sensitivity modules. I work with children in conflict with the law and see whether we can help with their rehabilitation process. So there are all these different programs where I feel like my skills and my expertise can add value, especially storytelling can add value. I try and put in my best for that. So that's what I'm doing.
So lovely.
Now, I've told you a lot of stuff that I do.
I'm so impressed.
And I really want to know all the stuff that you do. I know about the story, about the poetry.
Writing.
And I know you're very passionate about sustainability, climate change. But explain, what are you doing in that space and all the other spaces that you're working in right now?
Thank you. So, couple of things. Sustainability, when we talk about sustainability, is ESG, environment, social governance.
Yeah.
Lot of the world's efforts today are centered around environment, climate change, climate action, climate risk, resilience to climate change, all that. And whilst that is part of my ex-corporate persona, I was a management consultant, sustainability consultant. But that area of my life is still very, very active, and I'm working on setting up a sustainability startup with a couple of other partners, where we talk about how working with mid-corporates in India to see how we further that cause. But for me personally, more important to that conversation is the S of ESG, the social. The equity bit, right? The gender equity, the equity around women finding their voices, disabilities, how we are bringing them, sort of including them. When we talk about an inclusive world, we actually are not talking about an inclusive world.
Oh yeah.
We are just doing a checkbox on diversity hiring. We're doing a checkbox on disability hiring. We are not really giving them an equitable platform to show up and to operate. So that, stemming from the focus on S, is my personal focus on actually coaching. And that has been a lifelong journey of sorts, because I've always been coaching people informally, formally. And it is only after Creativegarh that I sort of found my wings to be actually going out and doing that in the world, to find other people who just need a little bit of nudge to shine, to come into their own, to come into their glory and find their wings and fly. So that's my newfound purpose.
And in fact, now that I'm listening to you, I'm actually thinking that maybe there is, there are spaces where maybe we can collaborate, or I can put you in touch with people who might be able to take that forward.
Absolutely.
That'd be amazing to be able to work together.
Absolutely. I would love that. So the way I think about healing is now different sort of modalities. Heal the planet, sustainability. Heal individuals, the S of ESG. And heal ourselves, which is, through coaching, through meditation, and all the inner work. All the inner work we learned at Creativegarh. So that's how I am now approaching life. Is individual, community, and planet.
That's an amazing way of looking at life. Mohana, let's have some fun.
Yes.
Let's do a rapid fire round.
Perfect.
Right? So whatever I ask you, just one line answer.
Perfect. Sounds good.
So the first one, showing up or showing off?
Showing up.
For sure?
Without doubt.
Okay. Responsibility or duty?
That's a deep one, but I would have to choose responsibility, because that, I think, comes from love.
Okay.
Duty comes from a sense of obligation.
True. Belief or truth?
One is comfortable, one is uncomfortable. So truth, right?
Might as well.
Yes.
Haiku or free verse?
Free verse, much more flowy.
I agree. One great poem or 100 maybe not so good poems?
One great poem.
Caravan or luxe travel?
Oh, caravanning for sure.
And are you an early bird or a midnight? Or early bird or midnight owl?
Oh my gosh, when I post all my poems, just scraping in at the midnight hour. So definitely midnight owl.
Okay, that sounds perfect.
My turn, Sudipta.
Okay.
So, rapid fire again. Say the first thing that comes to your mind and say it in one sentence. Journaling.
Cathartic.
Wonderful. Storytelling.
Purpose.
You won't believe my next question was purpose.
So using storytelling to change the world.
Perfect answer. What is your why? But I think we know that. But say
But
it
I
for
would
me.
say my grandson.
Really?
He's my why for everything I do.
Wow. That is so unusual an answer. Virtues versus vices.
Vices
Hai na?
any day.
Any day.
Any day.
Give us like strobe lights in a nightclub, right? At 2 a.m. in the night.
And gin.
And gin.
Yeah.
Exactly. Vices any day.
Yeah.
Creativegarh.
Joy.
Yes, our joy evangelist, Arun. Animals.
My dog. I have a dog called Spooky.
Huh?
Who's like 16 years old now.
Oh, how lovely.
So yeah, my dog.
Oh. Mothers and motherhood. I know that's a cause very dear to our hearts both. But talk about that a bit.
I love being a mother. I just absolutely love being a mother. It's my favorite job in the world.
Being a daughter?
Interesting.
So that was wonderful. The rapid fire. Love the
So
rapid
much
fire,
fun.
right? Now tell me, Sudipta, how has your Creativegarh journey been before, after? How are you living your Creativegarh journey every day now?
Okay, firstly, Creativegarh, I think for me came at the right time, it was like absolutely combination of things which made it perfect to be there at that point. So I pretty much, I knew I was going to do it the moment I saw I saw it on the website, saw their website. And the journey has been, it's been actually transformational in so many different ways. Because I think there's part of me which has now got a system in place. There's a roadmap of where I want to go and what I want to do. And about showing up every day. That's been the main one, because I'm one of those people who is a little up and down about a lot of things.
Same here.
So this way, I make sure that I'm getting up, I'm doing what I need to do every day. So that is one part of it. And of course, I never refuse a challenge, and there's always a challenge coming up in Creativegarh. So I keep taking up these challenges and, and getting into the flow of things. Also, it's, I think it's made my dream, my passion project a reality, like I said. It's changed and helped my relationship with my mother.
That's wonderful.
It's made a difference there.
That's really deep and wonderful.
And I think at a larger level, I'm just so much more at peace with myself.
Yes, same
Like
here.
I said, the poem,
Same here.
now I feel it.
Yes.
So I think that's perhaps been my journey.
Absolutely. I cannot agree more.
Well, I have shared my journey. Now it's time for you to share yours. Tell me more.
So, and God said, let there be light. So that was really, jokes apart, but that was my Creativegarh journey, because I kind of went through the whole thing and I came out lighter at the end of the day. Lighter in spirit, lighter in weight, lighter as in darkness versus light. So I think that was my real evolution as a person. And if you ask Arun, he'll tell you that I chased him or he chased me, or some version of cat and mouse chasing each other for 18 months before I signed up. Because I think, life is about timing. Things happen to you or for you when you're ready and when the time is right? So it just, the time happened in May of this year, honestly. And I was already kind of at that stage and age of my life and career when corporate life wasn't making sense, too toxic, too competitive, too me versus you, you versus me, whereas I wanted it to be us and planet and people and community. So I think that's when I entered into Creativegarh, and I came out a lot calmer, a lot healed, was able to actually maintain a sense of calm and peace. And for the longest time and continuously for the longest time, I'm sleeping so much better. I wake up with earlier I used to wake up with this ball of anxiety and worry in my upper abdomen. Now I just wake up with a smile every day. I don't have a job. I quit my job after Creativegarh. So it was like, सारे घर के बदल डालूंगा type of thing, you know, like if you remember the Bajaj or the EC bulb ad from the back in the 80s when we were growing up. So that was me. I came out of Creativegarh, I wanted to change everything about me. I even went and broke my leg because I was like, okay, Mohana version 2.0, like change everything about you. Break your leg, get a cast, you know, get a new leg, you know, get a new dream, you know, work on the dream. So that was me. And honestly, I did. I gave up my corporate career, decided to focus on coaching full time, decided to focus on my writing quite a fair bit, and of course sustainability, because planet is very, very close to my heart, and without the planet we are nowhere. So that was my Creativegarh journey, and to the gins and the tonics.
Yes.
And to Arun and Creativegarh for bringing us together, to showing up, and for bringing us together.
And we did.
And to Creativegarh and to the gins with the D and the tonics.
Absolutely.
The tonic of life.
We showed up for the Show Up Show.
And we showed up for ourselves.
Absolutely.
And for Creativegarh. Bravo to us.
Cholo.
Da.
A show.
Okay. Serious face.
No, where to hit exactly.
Wouldn't that be fun? This hair is okay now.
Creativegarh came at the right time for the right reason.
We're having too much fun.